Never mind. So, hello, this Woman World Cup preview. Um, I have Rent with me. Let's see if the other guest, Matt, is joining. I'm not sure he's home yet, but he knows I've sent him the link, and if he joins, I will bring him in, of course. So, Rent, how you doing? It's been yesterday we seen each other, so
Yep. Yeah, I'm doing good, and I'm excited as well about the Women's World Cup. The women's
mm,
game has been growing a lot lately, in the past few years, and it's going to be interesting to see how they develop now in this new World Cup, which is going to be really interesting because I feel like there are a lot of good teams. There are a lot of
mm,
contenders for the title. It's a stacked World Cup. A lot of teams can win it, so it's going to be very, very interesting to see who does win it in the end.
yeah, and the playoffs happened, and one of my nations messed up, Chile, because we bottled it. We're useless in women football, men's football, in competitions, and well, in football, like Libertadores, Sudamericana. So Chile are a mess at the minute. But yeah, so we're gonna go through the groups, give our thoughts basically, and not do predictions because we will do it next week, uh, the 7th. So next Friday, probably. Let's see how it is. But yeah. Um, so yeah, let's begin with um, this group. Obviously, we have the hosts. One of the hosts, New Zealand. Then we have Norway, the great neighbors. Uh, Big up Norway.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, my club just got a new manager, sacked the first coach, and now got another one. So it's crazy with Norwegians at the minute at my football club. So obviously we have Philippines, Switzerland. Um, yeah, this should be straightforward, but we know upsets can happen. And I think we're gonna look at Switzerland as a dark horse for this. Um, let's start with Switzerland. Do you see them as a dark horse in this tournament?
Mm, I wouldn't necessarily say a dark horse. Like I said, the tournament is stacked. There are a lot of good teams, and I think Switzerland are definitely one of those decent teams that will probably get out of the group. They can maybe
Mm,
get into the round of 16, but I don't know if they would necessarily advance much further. I feel like it's very difficult for them. So I wouldn't say they are a dark horse, but I feel like they can. Sure have the quality to advance from this group. It will be a tall task, however, because of this group also has New Zealand, the hosts. Um, so that's going to be interesting to see how much home advantage helps New Zealand in this group.
yeah, Switzerland will be my second team I support. I will support two teams in this bloody World Cup. Chile did not make it, otherwise I would have supported three nations. Yeah, yeah, Switzerland is a very good nation, um, especially in these women World Cups. You never know what they can do. Norway, they have a couple of good players. I mean, they have one Barca player. Um, Big up to AD, Barca fan. But the Philippines, I think it's between the first place. It's got to be between Norway and Switzerland, and then third and fourth is probably gonna be. But look out for New Zealand. It's gonna be a good group, I think. But you know, I still have Switzerland favorites in this group. Um, it's gonna be
Really.
a fun group. So New Zealand playing against Norway. Um, it could be good. It could be good. And obviously we have Switzerland, Philippines, and then so on. Um, yeah, yeah, it's gonna be fun, this uh, Women World Cup, because we've seen in the last one it was pretty intense, So this is the nations. Let's just quickly go through the playoff thing, because Matt will join soon. He arrived home like a few minutes ago. So obviously Portugal went through in this. It was probably expected.
But it was really close. Like they needed a penalty in the last minute to qualify, so they just barely made it through.
And yeah, hopefully, obviously Cameroon beat Thailand 2-0 and Portugal won against Cameroon. So this entered Group B. So yeah, Portugal is going to be in a tough group, which would be interesting to see. Yeah, Group B, who got into the group of England, which the guest is coming soon, Matt. His group. Obviously, Haiti destroyed Senegal, which was expected, and then beat Chile. Well, it's what I like with these Women World Cups, because you have teams that you not expect to make it, and you have teams that, they should make it, but they don't. Like Chile was the favorite in this final, I believe.
Yeah.
But I said when I did my prediction that Haiti will be a very tough team. It won't be easy, and it showed. It took 111 minutes for Chile to score. So, and obviously Group C here, Chinese Taipei, they put Paraguay to penalties, and then Panama beat Papua New Guinea, and then Panama beat Paraguay in the playoff final. So the two South American teams did not do well, who actually met each other, I think, in the Copa America Femenina fifth place. So they both did not make it, and obviously it's the top goal scorer.
Yeah, I think this also shows a bit like how the quality of CONMEBOL when it comes to South American, when it comes to women's football, maybe CONMEBOL is not that good like they are in the men's game, right?
True. And also the debut for all three, I think Paraguay has been and won Women World Cup before, but it's debut for all the three nations: Haiti, Portugal, and Panama. So I won't be surprised if Ronaldo changed his name to a woman name and play for Portugal. No, I'm joking. And obviously the friendlies here. New Zealand lost to Portugal. This second result, I don't see it here. Argentina beat Chile 4-0. If I'm being honest, and that for me that was, I basically expected something like Argentina is gonna win. It's the same with the men's team. Like Chile always have a problem with Argentina. And then obviously Argentina beat the hosts, New Zealand 2-0. Obviously Thailand 1-1 against Senegal. Chinese Taipei destroyed Papua New Guinea with 5-0. And obviously Argentina win again versus New Zealand. So you could say 3-0 to Argentina in that game. So Argentina have scored 7 goals in these 3 matches. Thoughts on that? Do you think it's good form to bring to the Women World Cup? Is it good form to bring to the Women World Cup?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Argentina is probably arriving to the Women's World Cup on a high. We'll have to see. It's going to be very tough for sure. We are not in an easy group, but this competition should be good. Like Chile, they almost made the World Cup, and then New Zealand, they are the host. So like beating them both in such convincing fashion, because we basically beat New Zealand over 2 legs. So like I would consider that convincing. So yeah, we are in good form, but we'll have to see. I'm very skeptical, honestly, but yeah, it's looking good so far.
Hopefully, it's not rigged like the
Okay.
Men's World Cup. So it probably isn't, but yeah. Obviously, there was red cards. There's a player of the match. Obviously, Argentina got 3, which I'm surprised by.
Well, we won all 3 games, so I think it makes sense.
Not surprised, but so yeah, that's for the. So obviously, it was the venue for the playoff. So here is the teams who qualified for the playoffs. So Max was joined in 3 minutes. So that makes it. So obviously, I think who do you think has the? Of those 3 teams, do you see any of these being like dark horse in the Haiti, Portugal, Panama? Do you see dark horse in any of them?
Potentially Portugal. I feel like they, as a European team, the standards of women's football in Europe has grown exponentially over the last few years. They've always been decent, but over the last few years, I feel like it's been improving a lot more. And even though Portugal aren't really a standout team in Europe when it comes to women's football, just being in that sort of environment and facing all these other quality opponents on a regular basis can help you a lot improve as a team. So Portugal, they are in a tough group for sure, but if I had to pick one dark horse from the playoffs, it would probably be them, just because, yeah, they have that competitiveness, and it should help them.
I won't be surprised if Haiti go through, by the way. So this is stadiums. Stadium Australia, weird name.
Australia.
And then we have Sydney Football Stadium, Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. That's a nice stadium, if I'm being honest. Perth Rectangular Stadium again. Then we have Lang Park and Hindmarsh Stadium. So this is the stadiums in New Zealand. Eden Park, Wellington Regional Stadium, Forth Park Stadium, and Waikato Stadium. Which of these stadiums do you like the most? Like, which do you really like a lot?
I mean, I don't personally. I only know Stadium Australia because that's where the Australian men's team has been playing most of their games. But my personal is probably Eden Park. The All Blacks play there often for New Zealand, obviously the rugby team. So I feel like Eden Park is probably like the most iconic stadium out of all of these.
So yeah, so obviously the base camps, I think it's not confirmed, or yeah, it's confirmed. So here's all the teams. So Argentina will be in Auckland. England will be in Central Coast Stadium in New South Wales, and then Sweden, my beloved Sweden, and as campus of innovation and sport in Wellington. But that's our nations. Obviously, Switzerland will be Tahuna Park. Yeah, that's, and obviously some notable players who are playing this Women World Cup: Sam Kerr, Rolfe. We have a lot of good stars in this competition. Beth Mead and all of those England stars.
Well,
Yes.
obviously the Ballon d'Or winning Alexia Putellas as well.
Yeah, the GOAT. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, so Asia have 6 slots, CAF have 4, CONCACAF have 4, CONMEBOL have 3, Oceania have 1, and then 2 if you include New Zealand, which we are. UEFA have 11, and Inter-Confederation Playoff Tournament have 3. This is on the teams. Also, we have the big Argentina, England, and Sweden. So obviously the women's squads, obviously the notable stars we said. So this was the pots, and then we move on to Group B, which has the other hosts, Aussie, Australia, Republic of Ireland, Nigeria, and Canada. So, thoughts on this group? Do you think it's a group of life, or how do you see this group?
It surely feels that way. I feel like Australia got handed a fairly easy group for their own World Cup. Canada, they are a decent team. They've gotten a few medals over the years. I don't think they've gotten an official title. Actually, they won gold in the Olympics, so that counts. In the World Cup, they have not won it yet, but they've made some semifinals appearance. So Canada is for sure a scary team. But Nigeria and Republic of Ireland aren't really up to par with the rest of this group. So I feel like Australia should have an easy time, especially playing at home, to top this group. And Canada will probably be second, but that's just my opinion. I feel like it's pretty straightforward from what I can see.
Yeah, so I think it's a very good group if you look at it, and yeah, it's, and we have also not the reigning Euro winner, obviously the big boy himself, who's coming on for this preview, because his nation were actually in a group which we come into later. So I'm gonna welcome him, obviously the main man, the guy who I like the most of all the English people that I know. Obviously my boy Mats. Welcome, my brother. How are you, man? Welcome, Matt.
Hello, good to be here.
I'm
good, thanks.
Oi, mate. Yeah, so Matt, we have quick thoughts on the Group A. We are on the Group B right now. Quick thoughts.
All right, I'll go through them quickly. So New Zealand, they haven't, the potential for them hasn't looked strong at all. They, of course, I don't think they've won since last year, and they were battered by Portugal earlier this year. Norway, it's going to be hard to predict how good they're going to be, because in the last Euros they were the only team to concede against Northern Ireland, then conceded 8 to England. You might remember we were watching that game together with Theodore, and of course lost a crucial 6-pointer game to Austria, who I thought might have been able to come to this tournament. But they did top their qualifying group, so that's promising. Switzerland, they're a team on the up. In fact, in the last Euros, they were with Netherlands, Sweden, and Portugal. And even though they went out, they were competitive. They gave it a good go. And Lehmann, who has had WSL experience, is the player to look out for. The Philippines, I don't expect them to do much. And last week, I recently learned a fact or statistic that they're on average, they're one of the shortest in average height of countries out there, maybe even for the women. So defending set pieces is going to be a big problem, especially against Norway, who do have a much bigger average height. I don't know if Rank has talked about Group B at all, or if I should be speaking next.
I have also done it. So
okay, so I don't think I'll speak as much on this group. But before I do, are we revealing winners, finalists, dark horse, so on later on in the stream?
Yeah.
In which case, I'll say is I've got. I think Australia can do something special in this World Cup. The group itself is all right. Republic of Ireland got here for the first time in their history. So they beat Scotland, who beat Austria. So my thinking is they'll finish bottom, but we don't know so much. I mean, they beat Zambia in a friendly not too long ago. Nigeria, they can be a good underdog, and Canada, they do tend to make the knockouts frequently. My thoughts at the minute is Australia and Canada are going through.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to keep it, like under 40 minutes, 45 or so, because we have something in Michael's stream later. He's gonna do a member stream, so I'm gonna join. So next we have Spain, Costa Rica, and Japan in the same group. Could we have a repeat? Could we? But let's see. This is just a preview, not a prediction. So I think this could be closer than what people think. I still think Spain is the favorites in this group by far. Japan, they have some good history in the Women's World Cup. I think they won 2011 edition, I believe. They were amazing in that tournament, of course, but I haven't really watched Zambia that much, but I know their men's team is really good right now. Can Costa Rica keep it out of 7-0? Can they not concede 7 versus Spain? But I think Spain, clearly favorite. I'm gonna. For me, it's gonna be very close between Zambia and Japan, but I could also see Costa Rica making something out of this group. But generally, I think it's out of Spain. I think it's an open group. Maybe if you had like Australia in this group, it would be more open. Thoughts on this group? Go to Matt first, and then Rank.
Well, Spain, I would imagine that they are the favourites in this group, and I imagine they will probably top up the group. Of course, having Alexis Putellas, who has been very successful, having a very successful career, winning Champions Leagues with Barcelona. I don't know anything about Costa Rica. Japan, they're not at their peak right now, but I think they can have a fairly good run, like around the quarterfinals, something like that. Zambia, that's the team I'm drawn to most because I think if they get around 4 points, beat Costa Rica and get a draw against one of these other two teams, then their chances of going through are very good. In the last Olympics, they were the only African team to get into the women's football section. And then in the last Africa Cup of Nations, they got to the semi-finals, only lost out to the winners, South Africa, by I think a 1-0. And then, of course, beat Nigeria, one of the most successful African nations in the third place playoff. So I have a feeling I know what that group's going to look like, but who knows? And I'm looking forward to that Zambia versus Japan game as between two nations I have a lot of time for.
As you're saying that, I did a prediction, like because on FIFA there's a Women World Cup mode, and some crazy results has happened in that one. And one of them has been Costa Rica beating Spain 1-0. So if that happens and my FIFA prediction is true, then yeah, congrats. I mean, anything can happen in the women football. It's unpredictable. Like I get, it's different if you're watching men's World Cup and women World Cup. It's two different things, but it's football, So it's two different things, We had Spain who won 8-0 against Costa Rica, or so, and now we have the men's team who plays against the men's team. So it could be 1-0 Costa Rica, or it could be completely different. What's your thoughts about this group rank?
Well, I feel like Spain topping the group should be the pretty obvious choice. They've been one of the best teams when it comes to women's football developing as of late. The Spanish league has been one of the first standards for women's leagues across Europe and around the world. And they have some fantastic players, most of them coming from Barcelona, who are probably the best women's team in the world. After that, I feel like Japan are definitely the team with the most history in this group when it comes to women's football. But like we've been saying, they are in a bit of a decline. So even though I would expect them to get second, it wouldn't be that surprising to see a team like Zambia stepping in and taking that second spot. For now, I think I would still trust Japan, but Zambia definitely is a good shout to get that second position. Costa Rica, for now, I wouldn't give them much of a chance in this group, but being in CONCACAF, having to play other decent teams, Panama has shown some good promise. Obviously, the US is the most successful women's team, so Costa Rica definitely have that competitiveness that probably can help them edge out some kind of result. For now, I would say Spain and Japan are my favorites, but the other two teams are no pushovers, in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is gonna be me when I'm watching the game, having fun. Yeah, but it's a very good group. I think everyone has said something about this group, I believe. So,
Yeah,
let's move into the next group with the remaining the Euro champion. Come on, England, the mighty England, the British Kings, or the British Queens. So England, they should top this group, but you never know what can happen. China is the weakest team in this group, in my opinion. Denmark, it's gonna be between Denmark and Haiti for the second. England most likely in the top group, but if I could see something crazy happen, it would be in this group. Because we have a Haiti who has never played in a Women's World Cup. You don't know how they play. You have never faced them. And you have a Denmark who has not been the greatest in their football side recent years. England, this is the best chance for England women team to win a major trophy. Like Euros is a major trophy, but the World Cup is something special for especially at the women's side of things. And England is favorites, but it could be close. So I want to first go to Matt. What's your thoughts on this group? Do you think it's an easy group for you guys, or do you see if you guys slip up? Would you be angry, or how would you react if you guys slip up somehow?
Well, I think England have been given a very favourable group. I would say this is good. England are good enough to get 9 points out of these. Northern Ireland aside, I would say the group England had in the Euros is tougher than what it is had, and one of the results included an 8-0 victory. Now, I don't necessarily think we're going to see wins like that here, but
you know what? I would be surprised actually, because China, they're not good anymore. Denmark, they won't concede 8, but I could say I have the scoreline. Versus Haiti, I could see a lot of goals in that game.
Well, in answer to your other question, I think there'd be a lot of questions to be asked if England were to lose any of these games. I do think they should be getting 9, maybe 7 points throughout. Got the best right back in the world with Lucy Bronze. Mary Earps might be the best keeper. I mean, England played a penalty shooter.
England actually have 2 of the best fullbacks in the world. You have Trent on the men's side, and you have Lucy Bronze on the women's side. So 2 of the best. So that's nice.
Well, the stuff I can say about Trent there, but we'd be getting a bit off topic. But what was I? The goalkeeper section, I think we're in great hands. No pun intended. We even had a finalissima penalty shootout against Brazil, and Earps came clutch. She was the only player that didn't have a single minute in the last World Cup under Phil Neville. The midfield depth, whilst there's like no superstars like Puteus, there's a lot of good depth from experienced starters, and in the forward areas it looks good. I mean, Beth Mead's out, but there's still a lot of good options, such as Lauren Hemp, Alicia Russo, Rachel Daly's what's the term called? I forgot Otten. She can play in multiple positions, and she even played left back in the Euros. Chloe Kelly's a good impact sub, having scored the winning goal in the last Euros final and the winning penalty in the finalissima against Brazil. And we've even improved in that area with Lauren James, Reese's sister, and we're looking. And she had a good game despite England not scoring against Portugal yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday.
I know who you mean.
Yeah,
Rachel Daly from Aston Villa women team.
Yes, and this England. Yes, there's some missing players like Leah Williamson and Beth Mead, and Millie Bright's currently out, but I think she should be back in time. But I think there's enough where England can be contenders, and yes, the captain Leah Williamson's out, but Jess Carter comes in and we've got two Chelsea centre backs partnering alongside each other. So things are good with England, and I'll just say on the other opponents, Denmark, China, pretty average. Haiti, weakest, but given their run through the playoffs, they look at it, this could be a good opportunity for them. If I had to pick one, I would say Denmark, because in the past Euros they've looked decent, and in the last group they only went out because they were up against Germany and Spain. So this is a very good draw for England, and also I would say Sarina Wiegman, best manager in the women's game.
I agree. So rank. Quick thoughts on this group.
I don't think there's much to add. I feel like Mats has been given a lot of depth, especially about the England squad. About the other opponents, like Matt said, you would expect England to get 9 points because Haiti, they are an underdog for sure. They beat a very decent Chile team to get here in the playoffs, so like they are no pushovers.
Yeah.
Denmark, not the most standout team you can find in Europe. Definitely not a contender for the tournament, but I feel like they could give it a good go to try and advance to the knockout stage. China is probably the team I'm expecting the least of coming from this group. So I feel like England definitely will top it. What happens in second is going to be very interesting. There's probably going to be a dogfight between Haiti and Denmark, you would expect. But yeah, I don't even whoever qualifies in second, I don't think even has a realistic chance at the tournament anyway.
And about qualify, next Friday we're gonna qualify to the predictions, so that's fun. So let's see what the next group is. United States of America, Vietnam, Netherlands, and Portugal. So big up to AD. Sadly, he could not join because guess he was busy with something, and also he doesn't know.
He's going to a game.
He also doesn't know a lot about women football. USA are the favorites, but I'm gonna tell Netherlands and Portugal. They are good nations. Honestly, if this was the men's teams, it would be probably Netherlands and Portugal. And Vietnam would get destroyed like 20-0 or something, legit. But now it's the women's team. USA, probably the best woman nation in the world, behind England and Sweden. Netherlands, one of the I would not say dark horse, but one of the favorites. They have some good players. Portugal, they can do something amazing in this group. Vietnam, no chance in this group, I'm sorry. But you never know what can happen. Quick thoughts from you guys on this group? Matt?
Well, the thing that stands out is that we get a reunion of last year's final, USA versus Netherlands. Netherlands, of course, haven't been the same since Serena Wiegman left, but they do have a number of good players, and I think they could challenge the USA for that first place spot. And I think whilst USA may or may not still be in their prime, they should still be going far. And as for Portugal, they're a team on the up. Of course, got here by the playoffs. In the last Euros, like Switzerland, they also did well in a difficult group, and they actually came closer to advancing over Netherlands or Sweden over Switzerland. So I don't think they'll go through here, but I think they'll make their presence felt.
Yeah, I think as well the US should be topping this group, at least looking at them being obviously the reigning champions and the team that has won the Women's World Cup the most. Netherlands for sure will be contesting, like Matt said, but falling into that second spot shows me that Netherlands probably haven't had the best of times ever since the last World Cup in 2019. Even if their quality has declined a bit, I don't think the US are either looking that amazing as back then, which I think honestly makes this whole tournament the more competitive, because if the US aren't that strong and the Netherlands aren't also in that same pedestal they were last World Cup, it opens up the field for a lot of nations to actually contest. Portugal, they are a team that I mentioned as a dark horse. They got handed a very tough group. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can challenge for that second spot. For now, it looks a bit too difficult looking at how how many players the US and the Netherlands have and the history they have in the women's game. Vietnam for sure gonna finish bottom, but I don't think they are gonna get blown out. I feel like among the Asian teams, they are probably among the most decent, both in the men's and in the women's teams. Vietnam has been a bit on the rise. So I don't think Vietnam is necessarily gonna get destroyed in any of these games, but they are for sure finishing bottom, I believe.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
You know what would be funny if Ronaldo's sister was playing football? If she was in this World Cup, this would be the closest Ronaldo would be to lift it if Portugal do win it. So,
The genes are strong in the Ronaldo family.
True, Sui baby. Ronaldo is the GOAT, best of all time. We have next this group, which big up to Elite Sports TV, Ryan LFC, all the Jamaicans, all my Jamaican brothers and sisters, I would say. France, with Hervé Renard as manager, guys. So they should win this group. If they don't, it's gonna be Brazil. But what's your guys' thoughts? It should be France and Brazil, right? It should.
Yeah, it should be. It's good. France. It's going to be interesting to see what Hervé Renard does with their team. Obviously, they've got a number of good players. Renard's still kicking about. Very big centre back. Brazil. They did get walked all over on in that first half in the Finalissima against England. They stepped it up and took control of that second half. So I don't expect Brazil to go far in the tournament, but I think they'll give a good account of themselves. I don't see anything from these CONCACAF teams to even challenge the two. I would say Jamaica would finish higher because they've had that experience from the last World Cup. I don't know so much about Panama, but they had a fairly easy route through the intercontinental playoffs, beating Papua New Guinea, and whilst they were underdogs against Paraguay, they could have had like tougher finals, like against Portugal or Cameroon or someone like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Brazil, even though I don't think they are at their peak at the moment, they are still the best team in CONMEBOL by far, I would say. They'll be facing some real tough competition in France. I feel like Hervé Renard has been doing a fantastic job, usually when it comes to men's team, national teams especially. But I feel like Hervé Renard has gotten the most out of maybe underdog teams, and it'll be interesting to see how he does in a team that is expected to do well, such as France. I still would favor France to top the group, just because I feel like European teams have been more on the rise lately, and that competitiveness they have against each other is probably going to help a lot more compared to what Brazil have in CONMEBOL, where they are easily dominating that continent. So I think that Brazil will still comfortably finish in second and will probably have a scary team. Brazil will for sure be a scary team in the round of 16. Like for any of the Pot 1 nations, they will not want to face Brazil in the round of 16, I believe. So they're going to try to make a statement, trying to go far again in the tournament, but it's going to be very difficult. So yeah, for now I would have France first and Brazil second. As for the other two teams, I don't think it really matters that much.
I think
it will be nice if one of Jamaica or Panama can get points off of any of these teams.
If Jamaica wins this group, every Jamaican fan will go mad. They won't go crazy. So
they'll go crazy even if they get at second.
Roy, if they win the group, they won't go the most crazy. So the next group, Suecia. Come on, vamos.
I think I should go last on this one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There should be 9 points. I don't care. It should be. The squad we have, the team we have, I don't think Italy ain't that good anymore. South Africa, they're decent, but we should steamroll this group. But what's exciting is if Sweden and Argentina both need to win the last game, there might be a watch out for that. There might be. If Sweden destroys Argentina, oof. But my thoughts on this group, I think for fourth, that's tough because I think they're a very good side, Italy, but they, in my opinion, they're the weakest team in this group. Yeah, for me, the second and third, it's between Argentina and South Africa. Sweden should top this group with 9 points, not kidding, with 0 goals conceded. Because this team, what we have, I think is better than the Euros and the last World Cup. But you never know what could happen. Sweden could be fourth and they could be depressed by the end of their group stage. But yeah, Sweden has to be one of the favorites, in my opinion. One of the favorites because our men's team has done really, really well. Better than our men's team, which is, I'm not shocked at all, but at least the women team have a much better coach than our men's team. So, rank El Argentino will. What do you think of this group? Obviously, our nations being in the same group. It's gonna be a war.
Yeah, I mean, anything but Sweden first will be surprising. I feel like they are definitely the favorites to top the group with 9 or 7 points, whatever. They should finish first compared to these other 3 nations. Who finishes second is very interesting. I feel like it's very close between all 3 teams. There is no clear team who is above everyone. So speaking personally about Argentina, we've been definitely on the rise. We were definitely a pushover nation for most of our existence when it came to the women's game. And the last World Cup, it was the first time we even got a point. We actually got 2 points because we got a draw against Japan 0-0. And we came back from being 3-0 down against Scotland to make it 3-3. So those were so far the only 2 points we've gotten at the Women's World Cup. So I feel like the objective for the women's in this group should be to at least get a win. We need to get our first win in the World Cup. That I feel like that would be the bare minimum. And we definitely have the capacity to do so. I'm looking at some really good players we have, like both our center backs, Eliana Stabile and Aldana Cometi. They've been really, really good, especially Cometi playing for Real Madrid. You have other midfielders like Mariana Larroquette, Florencia Bonsiagudo also playing in Madrid. Estefania Vanini playing in Atletico Madrid, still kicking around, probably our most historic player. And looking at strikers like Shamila Rodriguez, who used to play for Boca's female team, who has been doing very, very well. So I feel like we definitely have some good players. And like I said, we've been on the rise, but I'm interested to see how we do once the pressure gets to us. Because, like I said, we don't have the best history when it comes to the World Cup. And Italy, even though they aren't...
because that was rigged, so...
Okay.
Hopefully this doesn't turn into a rigged tournament.
Okay, yeah.
Or else I will be angry.
Okay. So Italy, even though they are not like one of the best European nations, I feel like they at least have that edge over Argentina, that they are in a competitive federation, and they usually play these other big teams, so they are accustomed to these big occasions. And South Africa, reigning African champions, they are no pushovers. So I feel like that second position is going to be very, very close. I'm not going to predict who finishes second because I'm scared to do so. But I'm hoping that at least we get a win. I feel like getting our first win at the World Cup should be good enough.
It's only a preview, so it's good that we don't say our predictions, but we say the most what we expect. Obviously, that's not our prediction. So, Matt, quick thoughts on this group. before we move on to the last two.
I agree. Either about Sweden topping this group 9 points. I think that's probably about expected. I want to more or less talk about Italy and South Africa. South Africa are the current holders of the Africa Cup and Nations. In fact, they won the final by beating Morocco within Morocco, and so I think they're in contention to get second. Italy normally probably would be them to get second, but I like you. I think they're finishing bottom of this group. They were awful in the Euros, having drawn to Iceland and then lost a must-win game against Belgium. I don't even think Belgium have gone as far as they did in the last Euros. And then you could say that Italy have improved and looked good against England, but that wasn't a full-strength England team. I think the only player I can remember that does get a lot of first-team action that played was Rachel Daly. So I'd be leaning towards Italy to say they'll go out. If I to pick one, I think I would say Argentina to join Sweden.
Okay, yeah, so we probably have screwed one of predictions, but it's just thoughts. Don't say predictions. But yeah, this is a group where obviously the last group, the final group, we have the Deutschland, Germany, who hasn't been the greatest in the national teams recently. The women team has not been performing. The men's team has not been performing. The U21 has not been performing well. Went out in the group stage, lost match day. They lost to England, obviously. We have Colombia, who is another South American nation who made it. Good by them, I guess. But South Korea, this men's team are a story, but they're not the best Asian team. But they could do something. I think this is an open group. I think it was very close. But Morocco, guys, can this Morocco women team create history like the men's team did? If that happens, I would be very happy because it would be fun to see, these nations do well. Like this debutant, I think it's Morocco's debutant. I'm saying, I'm sure it is.
I would have to check that.
But it's gonna be. I think this will be I think Germany are the favorites, but I think it will be very close in this group. Quick thoughts, guys, on this group, the last group.
Do you want to go first, Mats?
All right then. Germany, I think this is a group that they'll be happy with. They've got Alexandra Popp, who is a true number 9 poacher, like a Giroud, like a Haaland. You feed her, she'll likely score. And she was very instrumental in Germany getting to that Euro 2021 final, and even was the difference in a very close game against France in the semi-finals. And I have high hopes for them. They're one of my contenders to win. In this group also, you've got Morocco and Colombia, who are in very similar situations, seeing as they in their regional tournaments, they both finished second, and as a means to, well, they qualified before getting to the final, but they both finished second in their regional tournaments. And South Korea, I don't think they'll do that much, to be honest. I mean, I'd criticised Italy a lot in that last segment, but South Korea lost to Italy. You never know, but I think I would say they're the least likely of the two to join Germany.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Germany should be topping this group, in my opinion. They have by far the most history from the other teams in this group, and they've been showing some good results, even though they are not at the level they were when they won the World Cup back in the 2000s. They are still a very strong team. Colombia, by far the second best in CONMEBOL, only behind Brazil. I feel like they are a very, very decent team when it comes to the women's game. So I would have them finishing second. They might even push for first if they are on a good day against Germany. We'll have to see about that. Morocco, yeah, they should be finishing third. They've been on the rise, like Matt said, finishing as runners-up of the last AFCON. But it was obviously disappointing that they lost that at home. So I don't know if I can really trust them when it comes to big occasions, especially knowing that it's their first ever World Cup. And South Korea, sadly, I feel like they should be finishing fourth. So this group feels slightly straightforward, even though maybe there's an outside chance for Morocco to do something or for Colombia to push for first. I feel like this group should be going according to predictions.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, it's so, guys. It's the end of the preview, but it's not the end of the stream, because we will do something like this, which who, in your guys' opinion, will be the top goal scorer in this tournament. So I'm gonna start with rank. Who's your top goal scorer?
That's a tough question, honestly. There are a lot of good shouts that you could give.
And how many goals do you think the winner will get?
I'm gonna say 6 goals. I think the top goal scorer will get around 6 goals over 7 games. That should be a realistic amount to get for the golden boot of the tournament. As to who will get it, you'll be looking at obviously teams like the US, Germany, England, or Spain trying to look for a goal scorer. But I think that the tournament is so close that it's difficult to determine which team is gonna go the furthest, and so which players are gonna get the most game time and the most opportunities to score those goals. So I feel like calling the golden boot is very, very difficult as of now.
I'm gonna call it that a Swedish player gets the top goal scorer. And I'm not saying it because I'm biased, but I feel like our group, like we can take the opportunity and score a lot of goals, like in that group. We have such a good team. So upcoming. So I'm gonna say Fridolin Ronfe gets the top goal scorer, the Barca Femini player. But I'm gonna say if I think Putellas could be close to winning the golden boot. So Matt, I'm saying also 6 goals, by the way. Matt, who's the top goal scorer and which? How many goals does the top goal scorer get, and who will win the golden boot?
There's 2 names that stand out to me. There's Sammy Kerr, there's Alexandra Pop. I think based on what my bracket might look like, it would probably be easier to go with Sammy Kerr. But as I think of it, I'm actually going to say Pop will be top goal scorer. And I agree with you guys. The top scorer will get 6, maybe 7 goals.
I won't be surprised if the USA scores like 7 versus Vietnam, and 5 of those goals is from Alex Morgan or someone like that. But
well,
yeah.
just for the sake of saying a name, I'm gonna say Esther Gonzalez, probably from Spain. She has a really good goal scoring ratio for the national team, 23 goals in 35 games. So I feel like with the being provided by Alexia Putellas, I feel like Esther has probably the highest chance to get the goal scorer, especially since I expect Spain to go far into the tournament.
So guys, that's been it for this stream. We went 1 hour. Yeah, like it was expected to do 45 minutes, but yeah, but yeah, it's when you have 3 people on the same live, you don't really get under 50 minutes or so. You get like 1 hour. Usually my streams are like 1 hour over 1 hour when I've done the streams, obviously with rank these couple of weeks for obvious reasons. So the upcoming stuff which is coming next week is obviously the next stream coming up is the big one. It's actually not a big one, but it's on Thursday. It's the predictions for playoff of Sudamericana, and then it's the round of 16 for the Libertadores. That's going to be in the same stream, so we have it done, so I don't have to stress about doing another, which would be pointless, do all at the same time. And then obviously it's the Women World Cup predictions, which obviously I will have these 2 people on for the predictions. Matt, I think you have done the predictions on your channel.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, because I'm
happy to say mine again.
and
when is that predictions likely to be?
Friday.
Okay.
So it's Friday or it can be on Saturday. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided time. The time I've decided, not the day. So yeah, guys. Any final words?
Well, it's gonna be exciting. So I don't think I will be able to tune into all of the games because of the time zone, but I'll for sure be taking a close look at what the Women's World Cup awaits because, like I said in the intro, the women's game has been developing at a quick rate. So it will be interesting to see how the results pan out, especially with so many powerhouses contesting for the title. So yeah, we'll be seeing what happens.
Yeah, as Rank said, that's be good. Oh, you were making a point?
Come on, Sweden. And Rank, you want to say Vamos Argentina?
Vamos Argentina.
It's coming home. But what I will say is I have pretty high hopes for Australia to do something special in this World Cup.
You really said it. Please, it's the best to not say it, because if you say it's coming home, that means it maybe not do it, because that might be a jinx, You just say, come on, England. Oh, crap, now I said it. Oh, no. It's going to end very badly.
England.
Thank you guys for joining. See you guys next week, next Thursday, unless we come up with something. It's raining outside. That's pretty nice. So yeah.
Raining here earlier on in the stream.
In a couple of minutes, I'm sure Michael will do his member stream. He hasn't set it up yet, but yeah, I'm gonna join that. And Rank and thank you guys for joining, and hopefully Argentina gets destroyed by Sweden. Goodbye, people. Gracias.